He walked into the courthouse like any other morning, briefcase in hand, stepped steady, eyes forward. But the moment he passed through the doors, the world seemed to shift. Police surrounded him, laughter dripping with scorn, handcuffs ready before a word was spoken. No one saw a threat, but his skin made him guilty in their eyes. Every step toward the squad car felt like a lifetime of judgment, of history pressing down on him. And yet, he didn't panic. He didn't fight. He just waited. What happens when the very system built to protect justice sees only your color? But what unfolded next would leave everyone stunned and rewrite everything they thought they knew. Marcus Thompson had spent 15 years walking these same courthouse halls, a quiet fixture in a world of marble floors and polished wood, where every portrait and plaque told stories of law and order. Each morning, he passed through security, greeted familiar faces, and carried out his duties with calm precision, respected but rarely noticed. Outside, the city moved on, traffic chatter, the rhythm of life. But inside, Marcus moved in a world he understood, a world he belonged to. Yet that morning, as he adjusted his worn jacket and stepped toward the security desk, a subtle tension hung in the air, something unspoken, a glance that lingered too long. And in that moment, the first seed of what would become a terrifying ordeal was planted, waiting to explode. What Marcus didn't know was that in mere seconds, the courthouse he knew like home would become a stage for humiliation, suspicion, and a test of every ounce of his dignity. As Marcus approached the security checkpoint, the air seemed to thicken around him, heavy with scrutiny he had never felt before. The new guard's eyes tracked him with suspicion, lingering on his skin, his worn suit, his calm composure, as if every step he took were a crime. ID, the guard demanded, fingers tapping the counter, voice sharp and unyielding. Marcus complied, sliding his license across the desk, but the gaze never wavered, scanning, questioning, doubting. Behind him, another officer appeared, older and more cautious, yet equally certain that he did not belong here. Whispers rose from the growing crowd of courthouse employees and visitors, a murmur of unease that seemed to echo the suspicion in the guard's eyes. Marcus remained still, measured, aware that a single wrong move could trigger violence, humiliation, or worse. Security radios crackled. Calls for backup went out, and within minutes, 3 uniformed police officers stormed the lobby, their presence heavy and threatening, their assumptions loud and unapologetic. They gripped his arms, forced him toward the exit, laughter dripping from their words as if the act of cuffing a man who had done nothing wrong were a performance for their amusement. Cameras from phones and nearby monitors captured every second. Yet Marcus' calm persisted, his silence a quiet defiance against the injustice. Blood began to rise from the abrasions where metal met flesh. His knees scraped against the unforgiving asphalt. But still he maintained composure, each movement deliberate, controlled, teaching a lesson these men refused to see. That dignity cannot be stripped by fear or ignorance. Bystanders gasped. Some moved to intervene, voices trembling, but the officers pushed forward, intent on enforcing their authority, blind to the truth. And all the while, Marcus' eyes never left the courthouse, the card words above the entrance. Asterisk equal justice under law, asterisk. Taunting, a promise unkept, yet a reminder of what was truly at stake. But what Marcus was about to reveal next would shatter assumptions, confront prejudice, and force everyone watching question everything they thought they knew about power, race, and justice. The morning sun glinted off the squad car as Marcus knelt on the asphalt, cuffs biting into his wrists, blood staining the fabric of his suit, every muscle tense yet controlled. Officers circled him, voices sharp, laughter cruel, convinced they were enforcing justice, oblivious to the truth staring them in the face. Bystanders held their breath, phones raised, the air electric with disbelief and fear. Marcus' eyes, steady and unflinching, met each officer's gaze, calm radiating through the chaos, a silent accusation that pierced deeper than words. Then, in a deliberate motion, he reached into his jacket, revealing the badge and credentials that shattered assumptions, that transformed humiliation into reckoning. The world seemed to stop, the officers frozen, the crowd gasping, the laughter die in their throats as recognition sank in. Every misjudgment, every act of bias, hung in the air, exposed, undeniable. Marcus rose slowly, bloody but unbowed, the weight of injustice met with the undeniable authority of truth. And in that heartbeat, the entire courthouse, and everyone watching, was forced to confront a question no one could ignore. Who truly decides who belongs? As Marcus stepped fully into the courthouse, cuffs removed, bloodied knees hidden beneath the folds of his robe, the weight of the morning's ordeal hung heavy. But so did a quiet triumph. The officers who had laughed and judged now stood exposed, confronted not by anger, but by the undeniable truth of his authority and humanity. The crowd, once silent in fear, began to murmur, some wiping tears, others recording, all witnessing a moment that transcended a single act of injustice. Marcus' calm dignity had turned humiliation into reckoning, proving that prejudice could be challenged even in the harshest spotlight. Yet the story did not end with his vindication. It was a mirror held up to every system, and every person that judges by color before character. The scars, the fear, the centuries of assumptions, they lingered, reminding the world that equality is not a given, but a fight. And as Marcus walked into the courtroom, he had earned the right to command. One truth resonated louder than any badge or title. How many more lives would need to endure this before society finally sees that justice must be more than a word etched in stone? It must be lived, felt, and fiercely protected?